Dwarf Boys.
Dwarf Boys.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dwarf Boys. We're back. William Yosefitz Crispers, how's it going?
It's going fantastic. I'm ready to dive into the depths with my dwarves.
Oh, that's great. Let's do a little bit of behind the scenes real quick, because it was kind of funny. New PC, I thought I had everything set up. We had just one minor audio thing we had to fix. I hit the go live button, and it goes live to restream. I'm like, great, restream's working. So then I stop streaming, and I hit the stream to Twitch, and I hit go stream on my up deck, and the whole PC just freezes. So then I'm like, okay, all right, so I hard powered down the PC, power it back up. We're back up and ready to go. But I guess when I opened OBS, it just... Actually, I don't think it was OBS. It was maybe updeck buffered the command. So as soon as OBS came back online, it just immediately started streaming. So if you saw a weird 30 seconds there, we didn't know we were live. Did we say anything inappropriate? We saved that for the stream, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Let's talk about previously on Dwarf Boys. We started a fortress. We met Miss Fensglaze. We hated her so much that we then deliberately killed the entire fortress.
Deliberately.
By dehydration. Deliberately, just to be clear.
Deliberately.
And then we started a second fortress under Will, and it was so boring that we decided to just go on hiatus for a month. But now we're back.
We're back with our new fortress, Singedro.
Singedro.
Oh, I'm an idiot. It's Singed Rough.
Singed.
Okay, you can't put that on me because it's singe is a word.
Sorry, I'm
Singed Rough.
I gotta check the stream. I'm getting graphical glitches on my side.
Okay. You know, it was like with Warzone, I was getting all of that skipping on my side, but it wasn't on the actual stream.
Oh, in OBS?
Yeah, like OBS, as OBS doesn't show stuttering, it's not happening.
Oh, okay,
like the dropped frames.
So let me just... Well, I was getting screen tearing, but I couldn't tell if it was just the OBS output or if it was on the stream. So let me do this. I'm gonna make sure that... Apologies, folks. You're just gonna have to shut the fuck up for a second, okay? Let me throw to the game. I'm gonna look at stuff on my side. How about you take us on a tour of your fortress so far?
Sure thing. Let me know when it's up.
I already threw to you. It's up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I don't have a visual of it anymore, so
I know I gotta turn it.
Yeah, that's fine. This is the well here. I got it working in the nick of time. Because as you can see here, if I go all the way up, the river has frozen. Right when I got the well working. While I was getting the well working, I noticed my Fisher Dwarf was trapped over here. My 81-year-old Fisher Dwarf. So I built a bridge to get her to safety. So this is the entrance here. The land we're at is pretty nice. It's not super mountainous. It's pretty flat plains. It's like only 1 or 2 elevations of ground, which is kind of nice. Nice river here. Forked channeled this over for the well. I just also in the nick of time traded with the trader who was here. Mm-hmm. They were about to leave, and I traded a bunch of stuff. I have to build the defenses here. I got some of this stuff working, but to be completely honest with you, I quit the game without saving so I could build the well before the river froze over.
Oh, good call. Good call.
Because it happened right before I opened the floodgate the previous time, and I was like, no, I can do it faster. So I rushed in that. We seem to be doing pretty well. I'll take you down below.
Do you have any
2
interesting
seconds.
dwarfs so far?
That. Not really. We've got our expedition leader is. Where are you? Mang Lolacockle.
What's his nickname? What's his nickname?
His nickname is Mang Granite Wheels, which is pretty good.
You know what? Give me a second. We have to do a scene.
Yes, we do.
Let me share my
and then I'm slowly building out rooms here. Oh no. Oh no, I didn't think this through.
There we go. Okay, you should see now.
Oh yes. I gotta fix this. I realize the well is one above these rooms, so I need to wall this off so nobody ends up dying.
Okay.
In a flood, which
are you ready?
Awful.
Or are you just do this real quick?
Yeah, let me just do this real quick. We can do the thing because I'll just go through this.
No, I mean I need you in the sketch.
Oh yeah, I'm here for the sketch.
All right,
let's do it, girl.
Okay, let's go to the tunnel.
Hello, I'm your new expedition leader. Nice to meet you.
I'm so happy you're here.
What's your name?
Greg.
Greg. Nice to meet you. You don't need to know my name. So what's it like around here?
I would love to address you by your name.
It's Mang Lorgog. Nice to meet you.
Oh, great. That's a great last name. That's very
yeah. You just Lolo. That's all it is. Lolo. That's all it is. There's nothing funny about it. You can't make fun of me for it. No. Just Lolo.
That's a great name. It's a proud family.
Greg. Gotta be honest with you. Bit of a boring name. You got a nickname or something? I'm a big fan of nicknames. Ask me what my nickname is.
What's your nickname?
Granite Wheel. Okay? It's Granite Wheel. It's not Lolo. It's Granite Wheel.
I will say Greg short for Zuglar.
Greg short for Zuglar. It's a bit of a mouthful, but I'll take it. Just don't call me by my Christian name, okay?
Sure thing, Meng.
Thank you. It's Lolo Cockle.
Oh god.
All right, let's go back.
Oh,
that was a great scene.
Great scene. Great
okay,
sketch.
Let me just.
Honestly, one of our best.
Honestly, one of our best.
Honestly, I don't know.
Why can't I erase these?
Come on. Hi. We're live.
Hi. We're live?
Sorry, I'm just double checking everything, but we are okay.
We're okay. Folks, we're okay.
All right, so did you get your well up, or did you say you save scum to get your well up?
Yeah, I save scum to get my well up because I don't know if it's a glitch in this game, but sometimes when you mark stuff for removal, they just ignore it. And I was trying to get all the rocks removed before.
I have noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I reloaded the save and just did it quickly. And then I did it by section, so in case it froze over, I would have a reservoir at least to go through. So I'm just gonna do this for now. Block those rooms off. I'm so mad. I've done this is the second time in a fortress I've done that, where I accidentally built the well above the living rooms, so I can't do anything.
Absolute fool! Did you change your Z level key bindings?
No, it's just on the scroll wheel.
Because I changed mine to scroll wheel is zoom, and then the secondary default for Z levels is E and C, and that worked. That seems to.
That's
work
pretty good.
Well.
Yeah, I don't mind the scroll wheel, and you hold control to do that. It's not too bad.
What's your Dwarf Fortress experience so far with Dwarf Fortress Steam? I know you had a big fortress going for a bit, and then.
Yeah, I need to go back to that. I kind of dropped the game for a bit because we were doing like Game of the Year, and I was trying to play other things.
Same.
But it's just mostly back to like figuring out what you want your fortress to kind of look like.
Yeah, I dropped it as well because of my whole PC fiasco. Like, I did the thing where I like backed up my saves, and then I was like, I'm gonna play this on the new PC, and then it took like another 4 weeks to get the new PC running. So I just restored my saves today. I may go back. Part of me doesn't want to go back to the fortress I have right now with like 100 people, and that's like 40% entertainers, just because like
Yeah.
I don't like the design of it. But I may go back to it and just like use it. I may go back to it and just use it to mess around with stuff. Like, I've never done a drawbridge. I've never set up a press. Just try set up complicated traps or whatever. I still need to.
Oh,
If I ever get more than 50% entertainers in that fortress, I am going to put them in a room and slaughter them all. Like, it's going to be like the massacre of the theater kids. It's going to be great.
Massacre of the Theater.
But it's
Kids.
only if they ever obtain a majority. If they ever attain a majority of the population, they will all die.
They will all die.
They will all die.
Cut some more wood. Yeah, so this is all frozen over now. But thankfully, I have
Oh, wow.
this reservoir and then this reservoir. So
Nice. And I noticed
Should be
your
pretty
bedrooms,
good.
you had some water next to it. Are you going to do anything about that?
yeah, that's what I was just saying. It's the second time I've done that. Oh, you absolute idiot, Sodal! You have cask of Amontillado yourself into the place with all the water.
Where is he?
Well-
Oh my goodness, I see him.
He's right here. Why did you do that, bud? You're
Oh,
sleeping now.
Because you told him to put a wall, so he probably put the far wall first.
Yeah, because he's an idiot. Ugh.
You know, part of me,
How do
there is a
I
small part of me
deconstruct?
that's like, that's a bug with the game. But it's a larger part of me that fully accepts it. It's just dwarfs are stupid and you have to constantly give them good directions. Like, it's not bad AI, it's just stupid dwarfs. You know, that's one of the magic about this game, is that there are very rarely any bugs. It is just quirks, you know?
Someone come, please. Someone come delete it or remove this.
Oh yeah, because that's the funny thing, is he probably doesn't want to remove it because you have to remove it from the other side. I'm dying, by the way.
You're dying?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have
Why?
long COVID.
Ugh. You know, I was gonna bring this up on Thursday, but I hate you. No.
It's
Finally
every
I'm on
Thursday.
antibiotics
Oh, for your...
for the sinus infection. And it's pretty much gotten rid of it, although I have extreme bathroom problems, but that's okay.
It's unrelated.
Yeah, unrelated. That's just my diet. Okay, why will no one free him?
Do you have music on or anything?
I just have the like background drips and stuff. I can turn the music back on. I just figured it might be nice.
Let's turn the music back on, just because it's
Yeah.
rather quiet right now. Hello, everybody at home.
Is that a good volume?
I want to say yes, but I don't have my audio set up correctly, so let me...
Oh, you know what?
No, I think I've got it now.
Seconds. You're gonna.
Shut up. Are you... Don't send it through voice meter. Because I get it from Parsec. Okay, so everybody shut up. We're good. I'm getting it through my desktop audio.
Cool.
So everybody shut up. Okay, we're good.
Somebody free this man. Oh. Do I still have mining turned off? No.
I kind of want to make a list of... Gonna play some Dwarf Fortress. I want to do the drawbridge. I want to do another well, because I need to get better at wells. What's some other stuff I should do? Maybe try irrigation for...
Yeah.
People say the easy way to do it is you make like a water dump zone and then people just do it. Like they just bring buckets of water. I don't want to do that though. I want to like literally do like irrigation channels.
Like the muddy soil stuff.
Yeah, I still need to get smelting up. I think I had it built, but I did not have it full, like the whole end to end fully fleshed out and running.
Oh, I know why they're not coming to help you.
What are we doing in this fortress? Because I think this series is boring if we just play Dwarf Fortress, so I think we should set goals for ourselves, and they should try to be unique.
I really want... Okay, so there's one thing I really want to do.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what the drawbridge is set up to do, but we can kind of figure that out, is I want to capture like a forbidden beast or like something like that, which is you have it fall into something and then you can like do arena fights with it.
Nice. So we just need to set up some sort of thing where... let me go through my full flow and then tell me where I'm wrong. You get an alert that says a beast is coming. You then trigger some sort of trap or divergent area so that the beast heads towards it and falls into the trapped location. And then you seal it and you're good to go. Is that the rough flow?
Yeah, roughly.
Okay. So the forbidden beast will try to come in the front door, so... Is it really
trap
just...
them down in here, theoretically.
Will they fall in? I'm gonna Google stuff, if you don't mind.
Pretty sure. The other thing I would like to do is learn about like beekeeping, but I think I need a beekeeper to do that already. And I don't think I have one immediately.
Okay.
Go ahead and put a door here. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a door or a hatch here. I'm gonna put a door here.
Okay, so they say forgotten beasts don't really work well with cage traps, but I think we should set up some cage traps anyways. So whatever comes through that we don't like, we can trap them. So I'm gonna look up how to set up cage traps.
Yeah, I think I need cages and mechanisms, possibly. Okay, all of these.
Okay, so you build a mechanism, you build a cage, you build the cage trap using the mechanism. The mechanic will automatically load an empty cage into the trap. When the cage is sprung and a creature is caught, a dwarf will haul the cage to an animal stockpile. So I think you just build it in a location. But how do we... Can you set the trap not to go off? You know what I mean?
I think they automatically go off with enemies.
So we can just litter the doorway with some traps. Cage
traps, yeah.
Okay, so then you need mechanism and you need a cage. And that's it.
Cool. So let me order those. Mechanisms I have already, so just...
By the way, I apologize. I have some holes in my shoulder. I got shot with some arrows earlier. Here. Oh god. Oh god, it really hurts.
Oh, you know what?
Oh god.
Before... I can't make rock cages, can I? I gotta set up... Oh, I can make wooden cages, but let me set up...
Can we do a bit?
Yeah, first let me see if this guy was freed. He was. Okay, we're good. Now we can do a bit.
Okay.
Let me know when you're switched off of me, because I need to update my Discord, because I still can't see it right now.
Okay, go ahead. You can update.
It put your little picture full screen.
You know, I don't mean to shame you or anything, but I don't think that is appropriate as a desktop background.
What?
I mean, like, look, I don't mean to, like, kink shame you, but that is not appropriate. Like, I don't need to see that as your desktop background.
Well, I mean, it's spread a little, but...
I mean, there are parts of it that I can understand, but some of it is, like, borderline illegal. And we need HR. I wish we had HR at Subpixel, because I would be...
Well, her soul is 200 years old, is what you need to know.
Okay, all right. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm not.
Here's the bit.
We're good now.
We're going to heaven, and you are Saint Peter, or whoever the angel at the gate is, right?
Yeah, it's Gabriel. It's
hello? Where am I?
You're in heaven.
I said, well, heaven? What, did I die?
No, yes, you died.
How did I die? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Why are there holes in me?
It was a big arrow thing.
A a big arrow thing? Wait, one big arrow? Or like, I think it was multiple arrows, if I had to guess. This is...
I think it was also multiple arrows.
Oh my god, this is just... Look, I don't mean to... Did it hurt? Did it hurt? Wait.
You didn't fall from heaven.
Am I just gonna be like this in heaven? When you die, is that how you stay in heaven, with holes in you?
This is your mind, so it's kind of however you perceive it. But new holes,
look, I don't
new
mean
opportunities.
But just like, look at me, right? Like, look, there's holes in me. You can see through me. I don't like.
They're
this.
weirdly shaped too.
There's some messed up arrows. I
don't understand.
Look, can I go back?
No, you can go to hell.
Will they fill the holes in hell?
With searing hot lava.
Send me down there. Let's do it.
Okay, I'll push you down. Comedy, folks. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it
comes from the Italian word "comede."
Classic.
Oh my god. Okay, so I think let's build some traps at the front. I think in the entranceway.
Yeah, I just need to
mechanisms and cajes.
Yeah, I need to set up a forge so we can smelt things, which is why I was carving this out.
So explain to me smelting real quick. You've got a forge to smelt things, but the raw material they're just getting while they're mining.
Yeah, so it confused me for a really long time until, honestly, the Steam version, where you have to make charcoal and then
charcoal
the stuff that highlights
smelt.
Yeah, and the stuff that highlights in the list of the smelter is the things you have available.
Okay, gotcha. So I could theoretically just set up somebody with a constant job to make 10 charcoal if there's not 10 charcoal. And then I could set up somebody to smelt ore at the smelter as long as there's charcoal and raw ore. And then be fine. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. It's just that, I mean, that's not that complicated. It was just, I thought that's what you had to do, and I was like, no, it can't be that easy.
It was weird for a long time because I would always build a forge, and then, I can't. And then, come on. Wait for this to finish. And then you were like, add new task, and it just says requires fuel. And you're like, wait, what? Like, how do I get fuel? How do I put fuel into this thing? And you're like, oh, no, you got to make charcoal, so.
You gotta make what you say. Poopy balls for your day. Hey, speaking of Fantasia, Maggie and I started watching Game of Thrones last night.
Oh no.
Tell me about your history with Game of Thrones before I tell you about mine.
I started reading the first book, and I was a little bit younger, so it was like hard to get into. And then the first season of the show came out. I watched
26.
It was yesterday. Then I watched season 1 of the show, and I enjoyed that. So then I read 4 of the books, and then I watched all of the show as well.
So I watched season 1 and 2 when they first came out, and this is going to sound unbelievable, but I need you all to trust me. I did not really like the show in seasons 1 and 2 because the way the show is structured, they were introducing so many characters and so many storylines and not resolving any of it that I was like, I don't trust these people to wrap this story up. Like, I just don't. And I called that in season 1 and 2. And then I just kind of followed like the spoilers as the rest of the seasons went, because I stopped watching at the beginning of season 3. I mean, I did kind of enjoy it, but I was also like some of these characters are cool, but a lot of the scenes are just like, it felt like they took a book and they chunked it into 100 scenes, and then they just did 10 scenes per episode. You know, like there's no episode arc. There's barely even character arcs within a season. It's just scene after scene after scene, and of all these different characters and different storylines going on. And so I wasn't a big fan of it. But I have always meant to go back and watch it. Maggie did the same thing. She watched 2 seasons and she wasn't a big fan. And I've been planning to read the books, but I don't want to read the books until the last one's out so I can binge the whole series. But we kind of hit this point recently where we're just like, I don't want to say we're running out of TV shows, but Maggie wants to watch House of Dragons. And I was like, we can't really watch that until we watch Game of Thrones. It wouldn't feel right. And so we're finally started it last night. And it's still good. It's entertaining. I think knowing that it's not amazing and that it doesn't end that great, the TV show has made me lower my expectations and enjoy it more, because it's turned into more of a binge show than like a prestige greatest show of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while. I think it's season 4 and 5 are really good television.
That's good to hear.
The only thing I think the show does better than the book is like some of the books are totally separated.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing with Lord of the Rings, where you read all of Frodo, then you read all of Aragorn and the rest of them, where the movies put them together. Yeah. So the show does that, which I like, I prefer. But that's like the only thing I kind of like better.
Yeah. Also the nudity. It's a lot better seeing nudity than just reading about it.
100%.
It is a bit tasteless though. Like there are some, we've only watched 3 episodes so far, but there are some scenes where you're just like, we get it. It's a sex scene. You don't have to spend 30, 45 seconds showing tits. It's like, come on. This is a bit tasteless.
It's so good.
Yeah.
The books are good. Those 4 books I read was over a summer. I read 4 of the books because I was a tour guide on a boat, and every other tour I didn't have to present. So I would just sit down below deck reading.
Oh, that's kind of a weird work schedule.
Yeah, so there would be 2 of us there, and we would just switch off on a shift, like an 11-hour shift.
Yeah, I'm excited because a lot of people say the books are a lot better than the show, and so I'm ready to read the books. I want to wait until the last book is out, because I've really gotten, in the last couple of years, I've gotten in the habit of I pick a series, and then I just spend several months reading through all of it. Like when I did the Culture series, it was like 14 books, and I just boom, 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 boom. Same with Dune. I read all of those, you know.
Is the last book,
No.
is this next book the last book?
I believe it is, but it doesn't even have a date yet. It's just out in the winds. It's kind of like The Stone Door with Patrick Rothfuss. Have you read that?
Oh, that's never, ever, ever coming out.
I don't know, because I think he read or shared some chapters recently, so he's working on it. I'm not excited for that because I read that series. Have you read it? Have you read his series, whatever it's called? Oh, King Killer Chronicles. It's one of those. It feels like, I know he started writing it in college, and it feels like it. It feels like one of those writers that can write well, and they can write a lot, but they desperately need an editor to like pare it down and like reorder things. Because it felt like he was just telling like story after story after story, and some of them was just like, why are you spending 200 pages talking about this one summer he was in the forest for a month? And it's like, you know, like it just does not flow well entirely. It just feels like an endless story going on and on and going all over the place.
I enjoy those books. I think
I still enjoy them.
Like,
yeah,
he has really good prose, which is nice. Like, so you like look past a lot of the issues, and everyone's complaints with those books, who are like people who are into it, are like, it's an unreliable author because he's telling the book, like he's the one who's in it. And I'm like, who the fuck cares? Like, it's not some biography about like someone real. Like
that's that's a valid complaint, but it's a complaint against an entire genre of literature. It's not about that book.
And the framing of that, where he's like,
just real quick, you know, now that they mention it, The Great Gatsby is a piece of shit book because you can't because you can't rely on the narrators. You fucking idiots.
Yeah, the framing device of him like telling the story to a biographer is a neat framing device. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like,
I think it's literally just that. Like you said, the prose is good, and most of the stories are very good, but on a macro level, that book just feels like it's endless, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff glued together. And it's like, you really need somebody to come in here and like cut the fat, you know, make it flow better, as opposed to just like it just feels like somebody who loves to write, and so they're just constantly writing and adding, and it's like, dear Lord, get some structure in here, you know?
Yeah. The novella he wrote was good too. I enjoyed that.
Oh, I haven't.
It's like
read
about
that.
one of the other characters. It's about the girl who lives under that city or whatever.
Oh, under the university.
The university, that's what it is.
Are you mining that whole thing out?
Yeah, I'm just gonna chuck everything down here. It's easier than. I'll eventually organize it underneath each one.
You know, you say this for a lot of these games where you find it hard to play these games because you play for an hour and then you restart because you want to redesign and relay out everything. This is the game that by far, Dwarf Fortress is the game that by far I agree with you on that, and I feel that sentiment where I'm constantly like, let me restart, let me redo the layout.
Yeah.
You know?
RimWorld is a lot less because RimWorld is 1Z level.
Oh yeah.
And like that one I'll get like issues with sometimes where it's like, I should have cut it out better or whatever. Dwarf Fortress used to be that a lot more because you could build walls, but I don't think you couldn't fill in things easily.
Yeah.
At least I remember that.
I think you can though. I think I looked it up and you can. I think you
like
refill
this one
it in
presents
with,
it a lot more easily.
Yeah. I was looking at the workshop and there's some mods that because Dwarf Fortress Steam supports workshop, which is great. Every game should do that. One of the ones adds the letter keyboard shortcut to all the menu items at the bottom. So when you look at it, it just says in the corner what letter it is.
Oh, that's nice.
That was great. There was another one. I didn't want to do it, but it did. It made it so instead of it being flat top down, it's a 2.5D. So like a wall on the northern side, you can see like more of the wall, and the wall on the southern side, you just see the top. You know what I mean? Like it tilts the view, if that makes sense. That like perspective view. I was thinking about doing that one. There was one that I was kind of curious about. It basically takes the dwarf models and the animal models and everything, but it scaled like the heads up by like 10%, and it just the hair is like 10% bigger, and it just like takes all the features of those designs and just makes them more exaggerated. So when you're looking at the screen, like the characters pop more and the animals pop more. And that one was interesting. I don't think I installed that one, but I was thinking about it. There's a bunch of races.
So now
apparently,
we're smelting.
Apparently, it's really easy to add races in this. Like, there's a lot of mods that are just like this race, that race, this race.
Yeah, and I think I need to like play a lot more to get the initial stuff out of the way, so I can start being like, okay, everything's running well. Now I can like be like, let's set up some beekeepers. Let's set up like trade stuff. Like the end game of this is just like getting things set so you can go off and be like, I'm gonna build a tower in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
I know you need an empty food storage container. I'm working on it, bud.
Somebody just came in the room and left. I have no idea what happened because there's a green screen behind me in the door.
Wow. Proud of you.
Have you set up the tavern yet? Maybe we should set up the tavern real quick.
Yeah, let's do that. So this was the meeting hall.
Looks good.
I like to set up a separate tavern.
So I have a controversial opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I like to put the tavern close to the entrance because I don't know if this is possible, but I'm definitely paranoid about having some unsavory visitors in the tavern. So I kind of want them outside some of the defenses instead of inside.
So my tavern's the highest up is what I usually do. Like the meeting spaces, I make the highest up. But you have a good idea. What if we built like an outdoor tavern out here?
Outdoor or just to the left?
Or like underground outside tavern. Like
or no, I mean right before the drawbridge, just cut into the left.
Oh, right here? Okay, yeah, let's do it.
And then actually it gives you a lot of room because you can add rooms and all that stuff.
Think like that for the main hall.
Honestly, look, you want to build big because I think you want the dance hall, you want the dance floor in the middle, which is what, 5x5? And then you want room around the outside for all the tables and chairs.
Well, I'll just cut this, and then we can figure it out, and then we can add more to whatever the layout has to be.
And we should try to remember that we should try and smooth the floor first, or install floor first before we start putting furniture down. I always forget about that.
Yes,
Hey, what if I just started Dwarf Fortress off to the side?
I mean, someday there's gonna be a multiplayer mod, and I want it.
So it'd be like RCT, where it's a single save, but two people are editing and doing stuff. That sounds like a nightmare.
Or if we were in the same world and we had fortresses.
Oh, and we could set up trade routes between them or something. Yeah. I don't know. Because I think the thing about Dwarf Fortress is it's not so much about a big part of it is assigning and controlling and managing the dwarfs themselves. And I don't think two people managing the dwarfs at the same time is a good idea.
I haven't seen anyone use this. It is operational. Oh, God.
You know what we should do real quick, though? I hate to change topics.
Change away?
We should talk about what we need to do for Subpixel Aerospace Season 2. Because that is starting...
Oh, yes.
March 4th in a month. So I'm just gonna make a doc real quick just so we can. We have a prep list under Subpixel Aerospace, right? Guess when this list was created?
2020.
That's correct. January 7th, 2020. I'm gonna do.
It's funny. I went back. One of the streamers I watch has an archive channel someone else runs, and so I was watching stuff because they were playing Mario 64 crowd control, and I was like, I want us to have an audience so I could play one of these games with crowd control and make money. But beside the point, it was right before COVID. So it's like people being like, oh, did you hear about like the Wuhan virus or coronavirus and like all this stuff?
Man, let's talk about that. When did you first hear about COVID, and or when did you start to take it seriously? Like 2021, 2022?
Do you remember what the official lockdown day was? I think it's March 11th, right?
March 13th. It was a Friday the 13th.
Oh, it was March 13th.
Well, I don't want to say official, but the 11th was the day that Tom Hanks got it, the NBA canceled, all the stuff went down.
That's what it was.
And at least for my work, that Friday was when they were like, hey, we're going to practice a work from home day, so take your stuff. And then over the weekend, they were like, don't come back to the office.
Yeah, the 11th is when I was at the WeWork, because we were doing I was working for a sports betting place. And we were like, oh, they canceled the NBA games tonight. We have nothing to do. Yeah. So we went home. It's like, oh, we'll work remote. And then it was like, oh. There's nothing to do.
Wow, so you guys went remote
that
on
was
Thursday.
fast.
Wow. So I feel like I've told this story before, but we've got time. I'll tell it again. I started paying attention to it in February because that's when they started locking down the Chinese cities. And I was like, this is going to be bad. But I still didn't really think of it as a possibility until like early March when I was like, this is coming. We don't know when it's coming. And then I remember talking to a coworker in early March, and he was like a VP of sales. And I mentioned that because his perspective was a little different, but I was like, do you hear they like locked down Wuhan because of this virus? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, just imagine the economic impact of that. Like all the stores are shut down. Nobody's buying anything. He's like, there's no travel and all that. And I was just like, oh shit, you're right. Like, it's not just the city's locked down. It's like, there's a huge economic impact coming. So then I had a business trip to Dallas. So I went that week of like the 11th was the Wednesday. I think I flew out on Tuesday, and I was like, I brought masks and Lysol wipes with me. They weren't requiring masks yet, but I was like, should I wear one? Should I not? And on the plane, they were like, they started doing the thing. It's common now where they're like, before they take off, they're like, hey, we're going to come around with a trash bag if you want to like get rid of your wipes or anything. And I was like, I probably should wipe my tray down and all this, you know. But I only saw a couple people with masks. So that was the Tuesday. Actually, I think that was Monday. And then Tuesday I had to work. Again, I'm in Dallas. Wednesday I worked. And then Wednesday night was when the news started popping off. They're like, Tom Hanks has COVID. The NBA has canceled. NHL has canceled. And then they were like, President Trump has just announced a live press conference on all the primetime networks, which is like, something is happening. You know, that only happens when something is happening. And the rumor came out like 30 minutes before that he was going to shut down all travel between the US and Europe. And I was like, oh my God. Because the thing was, at that time, my parents were in Europe. They were visiting Europe. So they were in the Netherlands at the time. So Trump comes on.
Oh, I remember that.
And he starts saying these lines. And this isn't, part of this is anti-Trump, but really it's just part of like the evolving situation. So it's just kind of a general complaint. But some of his remarks were off the cuff. Like they wrote that speech very rapidly, which totally understandable. But he said like all travel between the US, all travel and all cargo between the US and Europe is going to be done. You have until Sunday to get home. There will be very like limited exceptions. And I'm reading that going like, my parents have to get home within the next 72 hours. Otherwise they're going to be stuck in Europe for the entire pandemic. And I was like,
I think I remember that because I think we streamed or something, and you had mentioned that your parents were away.
Yeah. But that was Wednesday night. And so this is happening live. It's like, I think it was 10 p.m. Eastern because it was 9 p.m. in Dallas. And I'm messaging with my sisters and I'm like, yo, this is going down. We need to get in contact with them. So we call them up and it's like, it's like 3 or 4 a.m. for them. And we call them up. I call my dad. I call him once. He doesn't pick up. I come up. He picks it up and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry to wake you up, but President Trump just got on TV and announced that all travel between the US and Europe is shutting down in 72 hours. You need to go to the airport now. And so we're like trying to help them buy tickets, and we see the prices go from like $900 to $2,000 to $4,000.
Jeez.
Like literally free market is like literally just tripling the prices because they know everybody's trying to get home. They had to so they went to the Amsterdam airport. It took them like 2 days to get home. They had to like reroute their whole flight. It cost them like $2,500 out of pocket. They had to like go to the UK for like a day or two and then go to Orlando. And the whole time,
snowing. The
information is like the only thing we had to go off of was the Department of Homeland Security put out a press release. They put out a 1-page press release that was like, look, we're going to let U.S. citizens back in, but they have to go through specific airports after Sunday. And they didn't say which airports they were. And so we're just like, well, then if it's after Sunday, how do they know how to book? It's just like, it was a mess. That's so that happened. And then I get home late Thursday night. And I get home and it's Friday. And like I said, my work sent out an email where they're like, hey, we don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to do a practice work from home on Friday. So take all your stuff out of the office, or the stuff you think you need, and go home and work from home on Friday. And we'll be back in the office on Monday. And I was traveling anyways. So I come home late Thursday. I get there on Friday and I talk to Maggie and I'm like, this shit is real. Like, it is happening. It's going to get worse.
No. What is that?
Oh, is that miasma?
No, shut up. Keep telling your story.
Oh my God. What are you going to do?
Who's rotten dingo meat?
Because you just had meat there? Where's your dump zone? On the outside?
Yeah. That has to be it.
Probably. I mean, it says rotten.
God. Oh, yeah. It's coming and going, which means it's just something small. Anyways, yeah. Continue your story.
Yeah. So I get home on Friday and look, I'm going to be honest with you. This pissed me off. Maggie was not taking it seriously. She was like, who cares? She really was. She was like, who cares? Like, she had to study for school or something. She was just like, don't bother me. This doesn't matter. Who cares? It's not small. And I was like, at that point in time,
I can understand that.
I was like quoting the stats and I was like, look, they're saying like the death rate is 1 in 20 people. And like everything is shutting down. We have to go grocery shopping. And I'm not gonna lie, she was being a total asshole. I was like, look, I'll go do the grocery shopping. Just help me figure out the list. And she was like, no, I have to study. And I'm like, you don't understand. The grocery store, there's a run on groceries. We have to figure out what we need if we have to lock down for 2 months. And so I ended up going to the grocery store. And it was just like I took pictures. Produce section, empty. Meat section, empty. Paper section, empty. And I'm just like, oh my God. And, we're doing all that stockpiling and everything. And then the pandemic. I mean, everybody probably had a similar experience to that. But that's why I remember that week so specifically, because it was a Friday the 13th and I was traveling and my parents were traveling. And things went from like, we'll see how things go, to like within 3 days, everybody's just like locked down. Everything, shut it all down. It's crazy. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that today, how like that is one of those moments that we're going to have to explain to our kids and be like, yeah, we made 150 masks for the local hospital because we just did not have those supplies. And everybody pitched in to do something,
Do I have to, can you look up, do I have to mark a well as a water source?
Yeah. Well, I think you have to mark at least the area around it.
Like if I do that, is that good?
That should be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I was home that weekend, so was Karen, and it was empty outside. There were cops. People were trying to go to the park next to us. We were in Jersey City at the time, and cops were driving through the park saying, please leave the park. You're not allowed to be here. Stay inside. Which was very dystopian. And then I remember her birthday was in April, and I remember being like, oh, it'll be done up by April. Like, don't worry about it. And then it...
Can we go back to the pandemic, though? Because honestly, like, everything's closed, and you're just like, we have nothing to do but stay at home. It was honestly kind of comforting. It was like, let's just hang out for weeks.
There's been a couple things I've found since then that I'm like, God, I wish I had this in the pandemic. I would have just binged all of this. Or I would have painted all of the Napoleonic guy. Like...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it'll be fun explaining that to I can't remember what I was watching, but there was something that made me think of like this. I think it was something about World War II Europe and how like those years were just insane. People had to really change their whole lives change, but then afterwards you're trying to explain that to your kids to be like, no, this was a period in history where things were very different. And that's going to be like trying to explain the pandemic. What's the dance floor? Dance floor is 5x5, right?
I think so. Do I have to mark it?
I don't think so. I think it just needs to be big enough.
So there's going to be... I fucked these up.
Hey, real quick, while you're doing that, because honestly, who cares?
That's I've realized, I think this, no. Oh, God. Cancel construction. No.
We're going to go to the... Sorry, I'm trying to show the browser because let's do Miasma as a dolly.
Oh yes. I realize I should measure this from the walls that I can't change.
I'm gonna say this is what a fantasy medieval kitchen full of miasma from rotten dingo meat. Let's see what we got here. Oh, it's really chewing. It's struggling.
Chewing, boy.
Keep chewing. Probably doesn't know what miasma means. Oh,
is
it's
that
still chewing.
Real world?
I think it is.
Makes me think of
Yeah.
mesothelioma.
Oh, it's struggling.
Oh, it's struggling.
We defeated.
Well, because
we defeated it.
Because they had to remove all of the references to real world art.
God, I tell you what, my shoulder really hurts for some reason. Just
well, don't be a baby.
Oh, it hurts right there. Other shoulder hurts.
Do you know how
too.
hard it is to not be able to trust farts anymore?
Is that what's going on in your life?
It's pure liquid.
Hey, listen, I'm going to segue slightly. Farts to runny poop to coffee. I think I need to start roasting my own coffee beans.
Yeah?
Yeah, and the reason why is having like a full espresso machine is great, but it turns out it's very dependent on the size of the grind and also how fresh the beans are. Like there's actually a noticeable difference in the coffee and how it brews based on how fresh the beans are and stuff. And so the problem is I actually do need beans that have been, I can really only brew them within like 3 weeks of them being roasted. And then I was like looking up, okay, how much does it cost to get fresh roasted coffee? And it's like $15 a pound, basically 15 to $20. And then in some cases plus delivery. And then I was like, well, how do you roast your own beans? And they're like air fryer. I was like, fuck, I got an air fryer. And then they're like, and I was like, how much do green coffee beans cost? And they're like $5 a pound. I'm like, well, fuck me. So I think when I come back from London, I'm going to start roasting my own coffee beans because it's just cheaper and easier. And I actually do need it for the espresso machine.
Why is nobody hauling? Karen said, oh yeah, during the pandemic, they made masks at work. She explored sourdough. You did make bagels, which were fantastic, as well as bread.
Yeah, I did the bread too.
Collecting unemployment was great because I worked enough to get paid from work and be under the minimum amount of hours to also collect unemployment.
Oh,
so
really? Wow.
I made twice as much as if I had just worked the entire week at my regular job.
Wow.
And it was like, why would I ever go back to work full time for you? Like, Karen said it's not worth it to roast your own coffee, but it is worth it to grind your own coffee.
Yeah. So my counterpoint to that though is the espresso machine is very particular, both to the grind, which I'm already doing, like to the point where I have an electric grinder. It was like $100. It's great for grinding beans. It does not grind them fine enough for espresso. So I had to go back to hand grinding for my espresso, unless I want to spend $300 on a better grinder. And then roasting for espresso, you totally need fresh roast. Otherwise, you don't get the same crema, and the taste is too bitter. All right, I'm gonna kill this.
Don't get the same crema. You gotta get the right crema. Put some chairs down.
Do you think it's just... Oh, it's trying again. Let's see what it does. Maybe I'll change miasma to stinky air.
Stinky poo-poo air.
Stinky poo-poo.
Stinky butt, fart clouds. Do fart clouds.
Fart clouds. I will. Okay, if I can
Stinky
stop
poo-poo
it.
fart cloud. You can't stop the funk, Ian.
Oh, wait, what was it?
Nobody can.
Okay, full of stinky, what was it? Stinky poo-poo fart clouds?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not working today. Maybe they finally realized
Maybe
that they're like wasting so much money by having this be open to the public. I think somebody said ChatGPT costs them like $3 million a day because of all the computing they have to run.
You see all the backfire stuff with the CNET AI articles?
Yeah. But then BuzzFeed said they're going to start using AI articles and their stock jumped like 80%. So
yeah, because rich people think it's the future.
You know, look, I'm just going to say it.
I'm
just going to say it. I'm going to say it. If your sole purpose is to write a whole bunch of clickbait articles, then why would you not use AI for it? Because that's the quality of shitty clickbait articles humans are chewing out right now.
1000%. I do agree with you.
I'm gonna let this run in the background. Let's go back to the game.
Yeah, I'm just I like the funkiness of when you just say nearest available thing.
Yeah.
Just like the horror of this room.
I think OpenAI may be... I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Let's do... You want to add some rooms?
Yeah, I just want to establish it as a.
Yes, a tavern. It always weirds me out that a tavern you don't need to build a bar. You know what I mean?
I do, because I mean.
What do you do for the bar,
have
though? You
people
just do a
work
bunch of tables.
I do tables and then chairs in front of them, and then I put all the beer behind it, just to look like a tavern.
When you do beer, how do you just do a stockpile of keg beer?
Yeah, of drinks.
Because I've done the thing where you do a chest and you say put 10 mugs in this chest or whatever. Have you gotten to the thing where you keep getting these alerts and there are things like it's something like canceled action drink ale, and it's like cannot find proper container or something, and you Google it and it's just like, no, that's the alert you get when they're so drunk that they spill their beer when they try and drink it, and then they go to drink some more and they're like, where's my beer? It's so great. It's so great that you're like, oh, they're so drunk that they're accidentally spilling their beer, and it's telling you that.
Okay, so bar, you want to put the bar up here and we'll do rooms this way?
Yeah, that works.
Let me do like this.
I'm so glad
And
that
then
we kind of had like the in the moment epiphany of putting this at number 3 on the Game of the Year list, because we're like, it's been out a while, but it also hasn't, and if we can't award it this year, then when can we award it, you know?
yeah.
So I'm glad this is number 3 on our GOTY list. Is great. I love it.
It is great.
Oh,
Justice for Case of the Golden Knight.
I don't know why, but when I did my bedrooms on the tavern, I didn't have a hallway. I just had them connect directly to the tavern, which is stupid now that I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you are stupid.
Yeah. Did you buy your new PC parts or whatever? Did you spec out your build?
Yeah, I haven't bought anything yet.
What are you looking at going with?
I did the bigger Be Quiet case.
The Dark Base 900.
Yeah, I actually asked on Build a PC for the how to find a card that'll have the same the amount of lanes I need for everything, and they said the best thing to look for is SLI capable card or motherboards, because those will normally. So I think the one I finally settled on does 16.8 and then 4, and I think is good enough. So I'm gonna get that. I'm still looking at CPUs. I'm not quite sure if I want to bite the bullet and buy a really expensive CPU, but like even I have an i7 10K 10,700 whatever. Even the like i5 12 is like 25-30% better.
Yeah. I mean, I
and
would
the
probably...
i9 is like 3 times as good.
But there's the 13th gen now, so I probably wouldn't go 12th gen just because you're building a multi-year PC, so I would probably just go 13th gen.
Yeah.
The only thing is
So I'll do that.
I gotta be honest with you, I can't recommend the i9 because I got the Noctua air cooler, which is very good. There's basically like the only 99% of water coolers are not as good as the Noctua air cooler. And the only way to get a better water cooler is to do like a custom loop. And this CPU, when I run Cinebench, it just immediately hits 100C. Like it hits 100C and it uses 300 watts. Just the CPU. So the i9 is very powerful, but it's also the type of CPU where if you're going to really use it, you have to severely build out your cooling and everything else around it. Otherwise, you're just going to have to constantly throttle it down. So, I mean, it's very powerful, but it's one of those things where it's like you're spending a lot on the CPU and you've got to build a lot around it. So I think that the i7 for the 13th gen is a sweet spot unless you really want to. Because, like, mine is, it's getting hot. And I'm like, okay, well, let me buy some more case fans and put some more case fans in there. Which kind of sucks, but at the same time, like, I don't want to underclock or not. Whatever. I don't want to gimp the CPU in the BIOS.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to think some more on what I want, but I'm mostly there. Like I'm gonna stick with the 2070 I have for now, until like I'm gonna look out for maybe a 3080, or like the 4000 series. Just keep an eye on them. But
Yeah,
for now,
I
think
wouldn't.
I'm fine.
I wouldn't go for a 3080 right now. I honestly
Like 3080 is when the cards start being better. Is mostly what I mean.
Oh,
Like,
okay. But the 4070
like,
Ti,
3070 isn't.
the 4070
Oh, yeah,
Ti is the same price as the 3080, and I think it's like a 25% gain on it.
Exactly. So anything above 3080, I'm going to look for. Like if someone's like, here's $10 for a 3080, obviously I would go for it.
Yeah.
But sorry, I'm rebuilding all the walls because some of them were roots, and you can't.
Okay.
They're not real walls.
You're
not my real wall.
I kind of want to do. The only thing that makes me want to upgrade to the 4000 series. I'm not actually going to upgrade, but Jeff Gerstmann was talking about this. I don't know if it's all of the 4000 series or if it's just the 4090, but it has support for that new AV1 encoder. Have you heard of that encoder?
I think so. Yeah.
It's basically like a very efficient, fast GPU based encoder for like recording, but also encoding. So he was talking about how he was doing he was taking like stream archives and podcast archives, and he does a little bit of editing in DaVinci Resolve and then exports it and uploads it to YouTube. And he said when he switched over to the AV1 encoder in DaVinci Resolve, it cut his encode time down to like 1/5 of what it was with like H.264, H.265. Like it just spun up the GPU and it just crunched it. And I was like, that's tempting. So, and honestly, I make enough money that when that 5000 series comes out, I may buy the 5000 series. I'm at the point where I can comfortably and at the same time justifiably upgrade every 2 GPU gens if I really am getting like a 50% increase in GPU between the 2 gens. Yeah, so we'll see. So why did you go with the Dark Base? The Dark Base 900.
What?
The case.
I honestly miss the airflow for my big HAF guy,
Yeah.
and this one gets a little too hot for me. So
Yeah.
I want to get something bigger. I want to try liquid cooling because I've always only ever done that
Air.
Hyper 12 whatever.
Yeah.
Air. And I just want to have something big with good airflow that doesn't make too much noise. And this case is great. I'm not going to get rid of it or get rid of this computer at all or anything. But I just want to have that set up so it's kind of good to go.
No, it's just interesting to hear you say that because I got pigeonholed into the 900 because I was like, my case needs to have at least 5 hard drive slots. Like 5. It was either like, I think it needs at least 4 2.5 inch or 3.5 inch slots for hard drives. And I need at least 1 5.25 inch optical drive bay. And it needs to fit my giant GPU. And that right there was just like severely cut my case options, you know? So it came down to like 3 valid options. So I was just curious why you came to this.
I just went for it because I liked the Be Quiets. I just went and picked that. I'm sure I could find.
It's definitely
another
quiet.
case.
Yeah, they have a version that's very similar to this, but it doesn't have the optical drive. It's not quite as big, but
yeah, because I don't need a ton of hard drive space. I'm actually trying to take hard drives out.
But now that I think about it, if you take the optical drive cage out of this case, you can put it has 7 3.5 inch hard drive slots in it, and then like 2 or 3 other SSD slots you could do. So you could put a lot. Honestly, the limiting factor would be the number of SATA connections on your motherboard and not the case at that point.
Yeah.
The only thing about this case, though, and this is not really a problem with this case, it's that why do cases keep doing this where they're like, we love clean cable runs, right? And so they're like, we're going to give you all these ways to shove cables behind the motherboard and like different cutouts and stuff and places to run cables in and out of behind the motherboard. But then you go to put that fucking side panel on, you know, and you don't have any room. And like this case is enormous. It's like 9 to 10 inches wide, but it still only has like a ½ inch behind the motherboard for those cables. So the first time I went to put it on, it didn't fit, and I had to carefully reroute all the cables so that they would fit when I put the side panel on. Like honestly, I'm at the point where the next case I may buy one of those stupid dual PC cases where they have it so you can mount 2 motherboards like back to back, just so that I have enough room to actually do cable routing on the backside.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because this case is huge, but because of how narrow it is back there, I had to spend like literally an hour like folding SATA cables into empty drive bays and stuff just to get everything going.
Okay, Bellum Gleeful Fishes is a human criminal.
Wow.
Hanging out here. He was delighted remembering watching the performance.
Okay, wait a minute. Fantasy, Dwarf, Bellin.
No, he's a human.
Oh, fantasy, human, criminal, hanging out in an underground dwarven tavern.
He tends to stretch out when he's bored.
Okay. I don't even know if this is going to generate, so let me do this and then I'll share it if it generates. I think Dolly may be down right now. Your pop's up to 21 though. I think it was only 13 when we started.
Oh, thanks. You actually just reminded me. I was trying to build out more rooms. Okay, so that's water, that's water. So these rooms will be okay. I mean, honestly, any of these rooms will be okay. But...
yeah. So I was gonna say so I was planning to go liquid cooling, like one of those all-in-one water coolers, and then I started doing a lot of research and looking into it, and the facts from multiple sources basically came down to pretty much none of them will get you better performance or even a quieter performance than one of the Noctua setups. And they're like, the only reason not to get a Noctua is if you have a smaller PC that can't fit like the giant heatsink. If it can fit that, then you go Noctua. And they were like it's slightly louder than the Noctua, just because the Noctua is super quiet. It's like 1 to 2 degrees C hotter. And the thing about all those all-in-one coolers is their lifespan's only like 5 or 6 years. At that point, you should replace it before the seals fail. And I was like, I really wanted to go water cooling, but then I was just like, shit. Especially with the CPU that I really need to cool, I was like, all right, let me get the Noctua then. And I like it. It's great. It's very quiet. It's just big.
Maybe I'll go with that.
Because that was the thing. I really wanted to do water cooling. Just like you, I was like, it's time to do water cooling. But then the more I researched, people were like, especially for something hot like an i9, like it's just not worth it. It's really not. And if you have room in your case, you should just go the heatsink. And granted, the Noctua was still like $100. It's not like it was a little bit cheaper than all-in-one, but still. Yeah, I think Dolly's just down right now.
Okay, that's fine.
But I started taxing the PC. Yesterday I played some Call of Duty, and honestly, I think I'm worse now because I'm getting more frames. Which is weird. Like before, I would have the thing where you're running like 60 frames per second, right? And then you would get into a firefight and things would just slightly chop down and it would just get hectic and you'd be like, okay, I won, cool. But literally, this is going to sound so weird, but I got into these firefights where we would start shooting at each other and the frames wouldn't drop. They would stay at 60. And I was like, oh, I have to actually like move my mouse and keep up with the person because I have enough frames to do that now. And so
that's wild.
So that was working better. But again, my CPU was still running at like 90 Celsius because that fucking i9 is hungry. Worst case, I kill another i9, in which case I'm just going to have to suck it up and buy another CPU and actually throttle it. But I'll let it go and see how it goes. And then I did DaVinci Resolve today. I just made a short This is not a valid benchmark in any way, but the short was 20 seconds long. It was 1080 by 1920, and I did encode at best value, and it took like less than a second. Like it was just like done.
Oh man,
which is not a valid test,
wanna...
but it still felt very fast. I was like, and then even just real quick, just scrubbing through the footage, like I put all the clips that I wanted to use on an M2, and just having that in my media bin, not using proxies at all. I was going through the source folder and just literally like scrubbing, and there was zero delay. Like I was scrubbing through like 12 different clips back to back to back to back, and it was fantastic. So that felt great, but I still need to stress it a little bit more. Anyways, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, if you want to export because I went to re-upload the 2021 Extra Life, which is 25 hours, and they're like, nope. And so I went to go cut it down, and it was like 3 hours. Well, the one thing I don't like is Premiere's like match source won't work sometimes because the source is like 2 megabits. Uh-huh. And when I go to re-export, it's like, our goal is 10 megabits. I'm like, why? Why is your goal 10 megabits? It should be 2 megabits.
DaVinci Resolve. It's time to move. I will say...
It's not going to happen, but...
I don't know if you've been listening to Giant Bomb, but they did a bombcast recently, and it was fantastic. Jan, over the holidays, was like... He had this 15-minute segment where he's like, guys, I tried out DaVinci Resolve, and it's free, and it's so much better than Adobe. And I was like, yes! And he was explaining... So this isn't something I haven't messed with too much, but After Effects is all layer-based. And he was talking about how DaVinci Resolve, first of all, it has Fusion, which is built in. So you just click a tab, and you're in there. You don't have to open up a separate piece of software. And it's all node-based. So you have, like, this footage, then goes into this, then feeds into this, then feeds into this effect. And he was talking about how it makes it so much easier to just, like, go backwards and change one thing, and it already propagates through the nodes, and you can control it better. But I did find my first semi-deal breaker with Resolve today, which is you can't move the panels as freely as you can in Adobe products in terms of, like, grab the panel for the effects and, like, move it wherever you want on the screen. You can't do that, and that sucks. Because I was trying
that does suck.
trying to do a custom layout, and it has, like, you can resize it, and you can say what's showing and what's not showing, but you can't just grab it and move it. But yeah, I'll try that. I think what happened is before, was it fine with the Extra Life being 25 hours, or was it multiple parts?
The upload limit is now 12 hours.
Yes. No, I know about that. Yeah. So
I have to cut it down to multiple parts.
I could do
that.
But
Premiere was just like it's gonna take a bit. So
yeah, I'll do it because I've cut it into three.
I've been doing, especially for work. A lot of movies, when I have to rip them or get them from places, are MKVs, which is annoying. So now, for a while, I was doing Handbrake and VLC. Sorry, to switch them to MP4s because...
No, I was about to say, isn't
MKVs.
there... I feel like there was a plugin I used once to do MKVs in Adobe. I may be making that up.
So now I actually use FFmpeg now to...
Oh.
FFmpeg is one of the few programs that doesn't re-encode it. It just... Or doesn't re-render it. It just changes the container to an MP4.
Yeah, it just changes
if you
the
run
dot.
it through Premiere and stuff, it's gonna re-encode it, which is annoying as shit. Sorry, I'm just redesigning rooms.
No, it's fine. This is a chill stream.
8, 18, 23. Okay, I have enough room. Just gonna build a couple more.
Yeah, I can do that. So I'll download it, cut it, and throw it back up. Because
I can upload it to you. I've already downloaded it.
You might just put it in pCloud. Although, is that
I'll
quicker?
put it in pCloud. It actually might be in there. Now that
I'll look.
Yeah. And I was cutting it. I don't know if just to tell you, there's obvious cut points where someone's segment ends and it starts one of our videos, like the playback videos. So you can just cut those.
Yeah, I'll look for that.
Makes it a little bit easier.
Actually, you know what I'll do is we have the raw backup recording on pCloud. I'll cut it from that.
Oh, yeah. Use that then. Yeah, that's perfect. I didn't even know we had that.
54 gigs. I can do that. I'll just copy that. Oh, I can't copy it now because I'm streaming.
You can't do it now. You're streaming, you bastard.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. This is a bit of a dud stream just because we're hanging out and chilling, but there wasn't anything that happened in here and we can't use Dolly. Do we want to just let's do this. Let's discuss what you're going to do offline between now and next stream, and then we end it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, regardless, the full live streams of these got 500 views on our main channel.
Yeah.
Which it won't on our streams channel now because.
But I'm gonna cut them down. The thing is, honestly, this episode's so slow that I think I'm just gonna cut the first couple down and then just not cut anymore, because I think it's very funny that I think the arc is we did episode 1, we had fun. We did episode 2, everybody died, and then we did episode 3 with the new fortress, and at the end of it we got so bored that we just killed the series.
Yeah.
You know. So I won't edit this down, but we can still keep up the stream series because we got like a 3-week gap anyways.
Yeah, I was going to say, I enjoy just playing Dwarf Fortress and chatting.
Same.
And if something exciting happens, we can cut it into something. And also, it seems like people who watch Dwarf Fortress also enjoy that. So.
Yeah, and we'll pull shorts from this. I think we continue with this series for a couple weeks. We don't plan on them being edited videos other than the first 3 eps. And we pull short clips from it as we want to. But what I mean is, before we cut for today, let's figure out what you can do offline before the next one. I think it's finish these bedrooms. Let's go ahead and get the bedrooms up. Did you get smelting up already, or do you have like workshop stuff you need to do?
Smelting's up. Yep, there's coal, charcoal. We have bronze bars, pewter bars, tin bars.
Okay. So maybe
I gotta get barrel production up.
Bedrooms,
food,
getting your various workshops up, not like super deep workshops, but just getting your basic workshops in good style. The stockpile, because I noticed you got that stockpile digging, so maybe we just let the stockpile finish, and maybe go ahead and make, but don't create the cage traps. So make the cages, make the mechanisms, and then we'll set them next time.
Okay,
does that sound good?
For me. Yeah.
All right, let me go to the outro. Thanks, everybody, for watching. It's a Dwarf Boars, our chill dwarf stream. You can find us at subpixelfilms.com. That takes you right to our link tree, which has links to our YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. If you want to go straight to our Twitter, though, that's where we've been posting all our content and stuff. That is at SubPixelTeam on Twitter. We are also at SubPixelTeam on TikTok. Wink, wink. Hiccup, hiccup. I don't know. Wink, wink. Nod, nod. Smoochy kisses. We're spinning up our TikTok again. I actually put one up today. We're going to try and do 3 a week. We're also going to try and do some Instagram shorts and some YouTube shorts. We'll see how it goes. Little baby boy. Oh my goodness. Where's your baby? Shh, 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 shh. It's going to be okay. We got to get out of here. Thanks. I'm at Think Gibson on Twitter. He's at Hunt270 on Twitter. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.